Are you looking for the best NFL bets around? Then get ready for the NFL's Week 17 IDP Plus MoneyLine podcast. Alrighty, greetings and welcome back to the IDP Plus, MoneyLine podcast. My name is Johnny the Greek. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Hope you guys had a good Christmas the other day there. We've got some good picks for you this week. Coming off a good week in the article last week, 2-1 overall. Just 6-7 in the podcast. Just missed a winning record by one game there, but we've been, we were pretty good the week before that, so alternates a little bit, but overall we've been pretty good this season. 30,000 foot view. But before we get into it, just a quick reminder, these are not even suggestions. We're just discussing the bets I might be making personally. Set a limit and stick to it. For help with problem gambling, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All righty, and we actually do have a Thursday night game for you this week. This should be out in time for that. So, we'll be starting with that. Tonight we got Chicago going to Seattle. Seattle is giving 4. Chicago's getting 4, around about minus 110 either way. Total is over or under 42 points. Money line is Seattle minus 218, Chicago plus 180. And we do have something that sticks out here. I think Genosmith over 220 pass yards at minus 120 looks pretty good for tonight. So he's cleared that line in 10 games already this season. So he's doing this the vast majority of the time to begin with. And tonight he's going up against a Chicago pass defense that is within the worst third of the league overall. They allow 225.2 yards per game through the air. They've had some serious issues with the secondary recently, fluctuations between Tyreek Stevens and Terrell Smith. They're on the backup of the backup for the starter for at safety with Jonathan Owens over Elijah Hicks. And they've just had injury issues all over the secondary there. And they weren't that great to begin with. So this lines up really well for Geno tonight, I think, to get over 220 pass yards at minus 120. Alrighty, and that'll take us to the first of 3 Saturday games this week. That's right, we've got 3 Saturday games, plus we had the Wednesday game and the Thursday game and the Sunday games and the Monday night game. So lots of moving pieces this week. Make sure you check those inactives. You don't want to lose your fantasy finals because you forgot there were games at weird times. But we'll start Saturday, 1 p.m. game. We've got the Chargers going to New England to play the Patriots. Chargers are giving 4.5. New England's getting 4.5. Round about minus 110 either way. Over under of 42.5 points. Money line is Chargers minus 218, Patriots plus 180. And I do not like the 4.5 there. That's like a weird number. You know what I mean? If it was Chargers, minus 6.5, minus 2.5, and we could cover a touchdown win or a field goal win, I'd be feeling much better about that. So if we got to take the minus 4.5 anyway, we should just pump it up a little bit and say Chargers minus 6.5, alt line at plus 117. Great price there. Because these guys really should just crush New England. That seems fairly obvious. Los Angeles is better at almost every single statistical category we look at, including a huge difference in the turnover differential, where the Chargers are plus 10 and New England is minus 9. That's 19 difference right there. That's huge. Chargers are just a much better team. Despite them being on the road, they should win and at least win by a touchdown. So I think that looks pretty good there. I would have liked it a lot better at Chargers minus 2.5, but the price is horrendous. So we'll just go the other way with it, get a better price, and hope they win by a touchdown. We'll see what happens. Alrighty, next game on Saturday, we got a 4:00 game. We got the Broncos going to Cincy to play the Bengals. Right now, Denver is getting 3.5, Cincy's giving 3.5, around about minus 110 either way. Higher total at 49.5 points for the over-under. Money line is Denver plus 145, Cincy minus 175. And I think Bo Nix over 225 pass yards at minus 135 lines up very good for us this week. He has cleared that line in 6 games already this season, including just last week against an exponentially better defense in the Los Angeles Chargers. Cincinnati is the 7th worst pass defense in the entire league, and they're just not good defensively, period. That is not their strength. Their offense is absolutely fantastic, though, so I would expect them to score early and often and force Denver to keep up with them to stay in this game. And I think they'll be able to. I think Denver will be able to against this really bad Cincy defense and pass defense especially. So that lines up well for bonix to get over 225 pass yards at minus 135. Alrighty, the Saturday night game this week is divisional showdown. We've got the Cardinals going to LA to play the Rams. Arizona is getting 7 points. Rams are giving 7, around about minus 110 either way. Over under of 47.5 points. Money line is Arizona plus 270, Rams minus 340. And I want to take Arizona plus 7.5 alt line at minus 133. This is a divisional game. Those are traditionally close. Arizona already won this game the first time around, 41-10, and not a lot has changed since then. So them getting 7.5 points feels extremely safe. The Rams also haven't beaten a divisional opponent by 8 or more yet this entire season. Every one of those games has either been close or a Rams loss. So I think we're looking good here. Cardinals will keep it close. And if we get them at plus 7.5 at minus 133, I think we're looking pretty safe for that one. Alrighty, that'll take us to Sunday. We'll start at 1 o'clock. We got divisional showdown. AFC East, Jets going to Buffalo to play the Bills. New York is getting 8.5. Buffalo's giving 8.5, round about minus 110 either way. 47 points for the over-under. Money line is Jets plus 350, Bills minus 455. And I think Aaron Rodgers over 244.5 pass yards at minus 137 looks pretty good for in this particular setup. He's cleared that line in the last 3 games consecutively and 7 times overall this season. And this week he's getting a Buffalo pass defense that is now the 8th worst across the entire league and allows 229.5 pass yards per game. So, yeah, we've got a couple different factors that help us with this, I think. Rodgers has been passing much better the last few games here, and the Bills have been giving up way more pass yards the past few games here. So I think that lines up well. Plus, it's fairly obvious that Buffalo should win this game and win big. They'll get out in front, force a negative game script for New York, and that's the Jets abandoning the run game and being forced to pass more than they want to. That helps us with this as well. So several different factors all pointing towards Aaron Rodgers over 244.5 pass yards at minus 137. Make sure you're prepared for the home stretch in fantasy playoffs with IDP Plus. Use promo code PROPS, PROPS, for 20% off your subscription. Gain access to exclusive tools, in-depth IDP articles, and much more. Don't miss out on the private subscriber Discord either. Sign up now at idpplus.com/membership. Alrighty, next 1 o'clock game this Sunday. We've got the Colts going to New York to play the Giants. Indy is giving 7.5. The Giants are getting 7.5 points at minus 110 either way. Lower total at 40.5 points. We're going to take advantage of that in a minute. Money line is Indy minus 440, Giants plus 340. And I think if we do over 38.5 alt line at minus 149, we're looking really good. This line is super low to begin with, and especially considering how bad both of these defenses are. So they allow 23.9 and 24.1 points per game respectively. And both defenses are not only bad, but they're also shredded with injury. We won't be getting any Bobby Okereke this week. We probably won't be getting any EJ Speed this week. And those are just the recent additions. Both these teams have been just shredded with injury prior to that this season. They're decimated. So, and they weren't that good to begin with. Neither of these defenses were all that great to begin with. So, there's plenty of value there with these two bad defenses for us to get more than 38.5 points combined, I think. Even with a backup quarterback for New York. I think Indy will probably give us most of this by themselves. They'll probably score, probably 30 points by themselves, and then we just need the Giants to score 9, and we're looking good. So that feels pretty safe. The lower line gives us an opportunity there. So over 38.5 alt line, minus 149 for that game. Alrighty, and that takes us to the next 1 o'clock game this Sunday. We've got NFC East Showdown. Cowboys going to Philly to play the Eagles. Dallas is getting 8 points. Philly is giving 8, round about minus 110 either way. Over under of 41 points. Money line is Dallas plus 280, Philly minus 355. And this is a huge line, and I don't like it, but I do think it's still likely to happen. I want to take Saquon Barkley over 107.5 rush yards at minus 137. I know that is a huge, ridiculous number, but he's cleared that line 9 times already this season, which is absolutely crazy. And this week, he's getting the Dallas rush defense. We've been picking on them all season, to great profit. They allow 135.9 yards per game on the ground. And there's a chance we don't get Jalen Hurts this week, especially in that scenario. Saquon's going to get his carries. And regardless, they want him to break the record. They're making sure he gets enough carries to do so each week. And they're up against a horrendous Dallas rush defense. So it's a good bet he's going to get some carries in the first place. I think Saquon keeps it going, has another massive game this week, and we're sitting pretty at Saquon Barkley over 107.5 rush yards at minus 137. Alrighty, and that'll take us to the next 1 o'clock game this Sunday, another divisional showdown. We got the Panthers going to Tampa Bay to play the Bucks. Carolina is getting 7.5. Tampa Bay is giving 7.5, round about minus 110 either way. Higher total at 48.5 points. Money line is Carolina plus 310, Tampa Bay minus 395. And we are set up very well for Buckyirving to get over 69.5 rush yards at minus 137. He's cleared that line in 7 games already. And he's really only been a starter / seeing significant snaps since week 10 or so. So he's done this most of the time since he's been getting starting snaps here. This week, he gets a Carolina rush defense that is dead last across the entire league. They allow 175 plus yards per game on the ground. That's about as good a setup as it gets for a running back like Buckyirving. And that's a lower total for him as well. So I think we're looking real good there. Buckyirving over 69.5 rush yards at minus 137. Alrighty, next 1 o'clock game, we've got the Raiders going to New Orleans to play the Saints. Raiders are giving 3.5. Saints are getting, Raiders are giving 1.5. Saints are getting 1.5, round about minus 110 either way. Lower total at 38 points for the over-under. Money line is Raiders minus 120, Saints plus 100. I got nothing for you. Nothing stuck out here. New Orleans, both these teams really are just so shredded with injury on both sides of the ball that it's tough to even know what options to trust. And there were literally no props out for this game, besides like team totals and, money line spread, stuff like that. So there wasn't much to choose from in the first place here, and nothing stuck out. And when nothing sticks out, we skip it and keep moving. So that's what we're going to do. Want a little extra in your fantasy football bankroll? Deposit just $10 with FanDuel and get $50 in bonus bets. It's the perfect boost to keep your season going. Don't wait. Claim your bonus now at idpplus.com/FanDuel. All right, and that'll take us to the last 1 o'clock game this Sunday, another divisional showdown. We got the Titans going to Jacksonville to play the Jags. Tennessee is getting 1. Jacksonville's giving 1, minus 110 either way. Lower total at 39.5 for the over-under. Money line is Tennessee minus 105, Jacksonville minus 115. And I think we're looking good for Mason Rudolph over 220.5 passing yards at minus 137. This is in the accompanying article at idpplus.com this week if you want a longer explanation. Short version is he's cleared that line in 3 of 5 games that he's played this season, so he's doing it the majority of the time to begin with. And he gets the worst pass defense in the entire league this week with Jacksonville, who allow 263 yards per game through the air. That is pretty good. That's a pretty good setup right there. So I think we got a good shot of Rudolph hitting this over 220.5 passing yards, minus 137. Alrighty, first 4 o'clock game this week. We got Cleveland going to Miami to play the Dolphins. Miami is giving 6.5. Cleveland is getting 6.5, minus 110 either way. 39.5 points for the over-under. Money line is Miami minus 310, Cleveland plus 250. And we don't have a line for this yet, but if it is going to be Dorian Thompson-Robinson, like it sounds like it will be, and even if it's not, the same bet works for Jameis Winston. Whoever it is to throw an interception, price not available yet, is probably going to happen. So with DTR under center, Cleveland can't get anything going at all. They are just horrendous offensively with that guy under center. If that's the case, they're going to slowly give up points to Miami and eventually end up in a negative game script and needing to throw on every down. When that happens, DTR will make a mistake like he has this entire season. So he's thrown 5 interceptions in only 3 games played this season. That is more than 1 interception per game. So if he's under center, he's going to throw a pick. And if Jameis is under center, we damn well know he's going to throw a pick. So whoever the starting quarterback is for Cleveland this week to throw an interception is the bet here. DraftKings is making it easier to win big. Deposit $50 and get $50 in bonus bets. With IDP Plus Insights and DraftKings, you'll be racking up those fantasy points in no time. Grab your bonus now at idpplus.com/DraftKings. Alrighty, that'll take us to the last 4 o'clock game this week. We got another divisional showdown and a great game on paper. We got the Packers going to Minnesota to play the Vikings. It is a 1-point spread either way at minus 110, so Vegas has no freaking clue who's going to win. Over under of 48.5 points. Money line is Green Bay minus 112, Minnesota minus 108. So once again, Vegas has no idea who's going to win, and neither do I. There is nothing that stuck out here. Both of these defenses are very solid and don't have any glaring weaknesses, and I'm not sure how this game's going to go. So we're not going to touch it. We don't force things when nothing sticks out, and that's how you stay away from losing bets. Alrighty, that'll take us to the 8 o'clock, or rather the night game this Sunday. We got the Falcons going to Washington to play the Commanders. Atlanta is getting 4. Washington's giving 4, minus 110 either way. 47.5 points for the over-under, higher total there. Money line is Atlanta plus 154, Washington minus 185. And I love Bijanrobinson over 84.5 rush yards at minus 137. He's cleared that line 9 times already this season, and he's getting a Washington rushing defense that allows 137.4 yards per game on the ground. That is within the worst third of the league. Plus, we've got a rookie quarterback under center again this week with Penix. And we know that when a rookie quarterback's under center, offenses tend to favor the run a bit more to, keep it off his plate, make sure that, the entire game is not in the hands of a guy that's played exactly 1 NFL game prior to today. So, it would make sense that Bijan is involved for several reasons. He's up against a bad rush defense. He's got a rookie quarterback under center. And he's been spectacular this entire season. So why wouldn't they, keep running him to begin with? So many, many factors pointing towards Bijanrobinson over 84.5 rush yards at minus 137. Alrighty, and to round out week 17, the Monday night game this week is a good one. We got the Lions going to San Fran in a rematch of last year's NFC title game. Detroit is giving 3.5. San Fran's getting 3.5, minus 110 either way. Huge total at 50.5 points for the over-under. Money line is Detroit minus 185, San Fran plus 154. And I think we just go with the over on this one. Over 50.5 total, minus 110. This is in the article this week if you want a longer explanation, but these teams score 32.9, Detroit, and 22.1, San Fran, points per game, respectively. That's about 55 points in a normal matchup, and this is not going to be a normal matchup. San Fran will probably be missing Greenlaw on top of everyone else that they've been missing in their defense. And Detroit is absolutely shredded defensively. They are missing so many guys, it's not even funny. So we've got an excellent Detroit offense that we know is going to score early and often and force San Fran to keep up with them. And they'll be able to do so against that Lions defense that's missing Alex Anzalone, Aiden Hutchinson, Carlton Davis, Aleem McNeil, Malcolm Rodriguez, and about 5-6 other guys on top of that. So this lines up very well. We've got a Detroit team that's going to score a bunch and kind of force San Fran to have to play keep up and catch up with them, but Detroit doesn't have the defense to stop them from doing so. So I think we get the shootout that Vegas thinks we're going to get here. So I think we just lean into that over 50.5 at minus 110. All righty. And we got some good options for you this week. Hopefully, most of those end up hitting for us. This will probably be it for the season for us. Week 18, that's when most of us stop content for fantasy, definitely. And probably for this as well, just because we're going to have backups for teams with winning records that are resting players. We're going to have teams with losing records, bringing in guys we haven't seen yet this season to get film on them for next year. There are a lot of moving pieces in week 18. That's why most fantasy leagues don't have their title game in week 18, because there's so much shit that comes out of left field. It's just going to make something that's already hard even harder. So we're just going to skip it. Maybe the article will be back for playoffs if I see some good playoff bets that are worth mentioning. And we'll definitely be back in some fashion next year, either through this podcast or through the article or for both. But, that's to be determined for next season. But regardless, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for reading this season. Good luck to everybody. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Go get those fantasy titles. Go win those bets. And we'll see you guys next season for more of the same. Take care. Have a good one. And we'll catch you next year. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching the IDP Plus YouTube network. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to tap the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.